Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to give you specific examples of things that I've created that still give me chills. I'll talk about how I created $6,000 out of nowhere, how I got a Macbook Pro, and how I got spontaneous income when I didn't have a job for a month. A few years ago, I was living in New York City where I met one of my now best friends, and she did reiki energy healing, which I was always interested in, and so I just asked her a lot of questions about it, and she offered to do a session on me, and I was really excited and kind of like nervous. I didn't know what to expect. So she did the reiki healing on me, and a million things happened. I could go into more detail, but that would be a whole nother video, but it was pretty amazing, all of the things that happened during that session. But she introduced the whole concept of the law of attraction to me. And I don't like saying law of attraction because it sounds so gimmicky and, you know, whatever. But I firmly believe that it is true. They wouldn't call it a law if it wasn't a law. After the Reiki healing, I became really, really interested in energy and healing, and my friend introduced me to sage and crystals, and I kind of just dismissed it as, you know, she was just like a California hippie. And after fully immersing myself in everything she was teaching me, I can fully say now that I sage my house every Sunday and I have way too many crystals. But besides that, one of the most important things that my friend did for me was she gave me a book called The Secret, which I'm sure everyone's heard about. And, you know, I was just trying to be open to it. So I started reading The Secret. I used to go to Madison Square Park, if you're familiar with New York City at all. And that was like my place. I would go there to read. I would go there to tan. I loved that park. It was my little like hometown spot. So I was first just sitting on a bench, and I was just it's an easy read. I was probably halfway through the book, and I will never forget this moment as long as I live. I still get chills when I think about this moment. I flipped to a page where I think it was a quote from Einstein or something, and you're supposed to repeat in your head, "This is a friendly universe." And I just, you know, whatever, I did it. I said it in my head. And I look up, and there's a homeless man walking directly toward me with like a torn up duffel bag. He only had one shoe on. He walked right up to me and didn't say a word to me. You never know what to expect in this kind of situation, and it's New York City, so people are kind of crazy. But he walked right up to me, looked me in the eye, didn't say a word to me, reached in his bag that was just full of stuff, and he pulled out the most beautiful single red rose. He handed it to me and walked away. I can't even explain to you the feeling that I had. I mean, I was sitting on a bench and there was people all around, and I felt like everybody stopped and we all just looked at each other, and it was such a bizarre but magical experience, and it shook me to my core. After that moment, I was convinced there is no way of having an experience like that and then telling me that the law of attraction does not exist. I just became fascinated with energy and creating my own reality. After this interaction, I put my book down, and I was just kind of in a daze after everything that just happened. And I grabbed my stuff and I was walking home with my red rose. And once I got home, I realized that I left my book on the park bench. And I called my friend, and she said that it was meant to be, that someone else was supposed to find it, and I truly believe that. So I'll never know who found my book, but I hope that it impacted their life the way it impacted mine. So after that night, we decided we wanted to do a mastermind meditation session, and we made lists of things we wanted to create, and we meditated on them, and we focused our energy. And I actually looked back at it last year, and I pretty much have everything except for one thing on that list. And the way it all came about was not what I expected. So the story of how I created $6,000, I've always done vision boards, but instead of a board, I do a journal. So I just find pictures of things that I want to create, and I glue them into this journal. This one was one of those instant manifestations where I had a picture of money that I had just printed out and put in their journal. And I do a meditation, and after my meditation, I just say to myself, I would love to create a spontaneous income of money because I was going to Hawaii and, I just wanted some extra spending money to have fun in Hawaii. And I'd never been, and I was really excited. And about 20 minutes later after this meditation, my agent called me, and I had booked this really big modeling job for NFL. And I found out the rate, which was $6,000. I looked back in my journal and I counted the picture of the money, and it was exactly $6,000. That blew my mind. I just asked for a spontaneous income of money, but because I had put that picture of exactly $6,000, that's what was given to me. So when you're supposed to be specific, I now understand why. Thank God I didn't put like $100. How I manifested my MacBook Pro was I was living in New York at the time. I was just getting ready to graduate. My friend and I were doing our mastermind meditation sessions, and the number one thing that I wanted on my list was a MacBook Pro. And I didn't know how I was going to get it. I wasn't sure. And my parents came to visit me for graduation, and as a graduation present, they got me a MacBook Pro. I had never mentioned wanting a MacBook Pro, it just happened. So sometimes you have to let go of how you're going to get things and just let them come to you. You never really know how it's going to come to you. One of my other favorite things that I manifested was I always been a frequent flyer. I live in California, my family's in Florida, my fiance's family's in New York, so we travel back and forth quite a bit. And we usually fly Virgin America or JetBlue. And if you've ever been on Virgin America, they have these amazing first class seats that recline into a bed, and they're just spacious and luxurious, and I've always wanted to fly first class. So I put that in my vision board, and one year we were booking flights back for Christmas, and you have to kind of check them every day because they just go up and down. And my fiance, I was doing 2 trips. I was flying to New York to be with my fiance's family, and then I was flying to Florida by myself to be with my family. I was doing 2 trips that year. So I booked part of my trip to go to New York, and I kept checking and checking. And one morning I logged on, and somehow there was a glitch in the system. The price to fly first class was cheaper than the main cabin coach area. So I got to fly first class for less than what people were paying to just fly in main cabin. That was nothing short of a miracle because that doesn't happen. But I got it for like so cheap. And I actually flew first class on the way back from Florida to California as well. There was just a last minute upgrade and I took it. The last example of a story I want to give to you is this past summer, I just quit my job. I decided I just wanted a month off. I took a month off. And I was worried because, I didn't have income coming in. I was just trusting that everything was going to be okay. And it was. I got a check in the mail from my agent from a client that I had done a modeling job for years prior, and they wanted to buy it out again. So I just manifested a spontaneous check that lasted me through the month. It really blows my mind how crazy it all happens. I find there's times where I push too hard and I want something so bad that I think I actually repel it. But the times where I just, print out a picture, glue it in that journal, it just happens effortlessly. So I think my biggest advice is you have to let it go. You can't try and create something and then want it so badly because you're doing the opposite. One of my favorite quotes is from Justin Perry from We Are Creators. And his quote is, "You must play the role before you audition." Meaning you have to already feel like you experienced it in your life and then it will be created. Follow your impulses even if you don't know where they lead. Just follow them because you really never know where you're going to end up. Lately I feel like I've been in a rut and I just needed some inspiration, and I was just thinking about those stories of things I created and just knowing that I can do it again. So I really hope this video helps you if you're feeling stuck or if you're feeling helpless in any way. Just gain back that control and realize that your energy is creating everything around you. So just focus on your thoughts, focus on your energy, hang in there, be specific, and let it go. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and please subscribe for more weekly videos like this.